Well, hi again everyone, here we are, fishing again, not long after my last session, and I've only got a few hours to spare today, so I've taken the decision not to go back to the Syndicate Lake, which is rock hard to be honest. I've come down to a local commercial day ticket water. Again, it's only about 10-15 minute drive from home. I've just bought 2 rods, real bare minimum of gear. I'm set up, I'm cast out towards the island that you can see behind me. Sticking with those Ronnie rigs with the pink krill pop-ups. Really want to give those a chance and hopefully today prove that they do hook fish, can work, and I can take them back to harder waters as and when I need to. As for now, I've got a nice cup of tea on the go. I'm going to sit back, wait, and hopefully catch a carp to hold up for the camera. There's no massive fish in here. They go up to about 10 pounds, low double figures, so not huge by today's standards, but still good scrappers. Be really great to catch one. I haven't had a bend in the rod for a while, or proper bend anyway, so let's keep everything crossed. I'll be back with you soon. Okay, well, I've just put some bait out. Not loads, just enough hopefully to attract a bite or two. Fingers crossed, this is meant to be an easy water, so I'll be really gutted if I can't catch one here. I'm going to bring both rods in and recast them. The reason being, my right hand rod just had a savage liner and I suspect it has pulled the rig into a nasty position or hooked it into something. I don't know that's happened, but that's in my mind now, so it's going to have to be repositioned. The other one, it didn't cast particularly well in the first place, so I'm going to try again. You know how it is, you sat there and you start to doubt your presentation, you start to doubt your rig positioning and that kind of thing, and that just doesn't make for a very happy fishing experience. Better to have things exactly where you want them, I think, and feel a little bit more confident whilst you're sat there waiting for the bites. So let's give them a reach-up. Just going to give each bait a dip in some glug that I've got, try and really boost that flavour in this colder water. Let's see if it makes a difference. This is the stuff, sticky krill flavoured glug. Got to say, I wasn't happy with the way that cast landed. I didn't cast well at all. Look at the result. Had I left that out there, no chance at all. The hook has gone through the swivel of the lead. I'm really glad I didn't leave it and just leave it to chance. Yeah, sure, I am disturbing the swim a little bit by trying to get this cast just right. And I'm no expert by any means, as you've probably already seen. But I do want to get it right, and I want to start getting it right. And the only way is to keep practicing, keep trying, and don't settle for second best, I suppose. Here we go. I was definitely a bit happier with the way that first rod landed on that second cast. So let's see if I can get this second rod in first time. Well, all in all, I'm a little bit happier now. They're just about where I want them. They're where I put the bait. They hit the clip on the cast, and I felt the lead down as much as I can. I've got to admit, I'm not brilliant at that. I know that's an acquired skill I haven't quite yet got. Working on it. But yeah, felt clean and felt like they're probably presented well now. So let's just wait and see if it results in a fish. I'm not going to give it long. I'll give it an hour tops, and if that doesn't work, I'll change things up and I'll change to a snowman rig with an actual bottom bait on the hook, just to see if a more food-based boilie approach has them feeding better than these artificial pop-up thingies. Let's see how it goes. Well, it's now just after 12 o'clock, which means I've been fishing for a couple of hours. Unfortunately, it hasn't resulted in any bites just yet. Same for the other guy who's fishing down the other end of the lake, so I don't feel too terrible about it. Sometimes it's nice to have a benchmark, something to compare yourself against, to see if if maybe somebody has an idea that you haven't had that's working. But unfortunately not. We are fishing different tactics as well. He's using luncheon meat and sweet corn, quite fine rigs, whereas I'm using an out-and-out boilie approach with, pretty proper carpy gear really, and neither is producing the bites at the moment. The water is very still, not a lot going on at all. Occasional bubbling sort of towards the middle of the lake, which I may have to put a bait onto. It doesn't look like the best spot in the world for a carp, but if there's bubbles there, it could be carp. I know there's a reasonable head of bream in here, so it could be them feeding. But I suppose if you don't try, you don't know, do you? So that might be worth a go. For now, I am happy with where the baits are positioned. I'm happy with the bait application that I've done, and just hoping that it all comes together and results in a fish on the bank. At least one would be nice. There's a heron working the margins over here, which is really interesting to watch. So still, and then will suddenly burst into life when it strikes for a fish. Just really impressive to watch. It certainly has kept me hooked for the last half hour or so. I'm going to carry on chilling out, have another cup of tea. I'm not going to change anything. I think sometimes you can fall into that trap of just reeling in, casting out, reeling in, casting out, and especially on a runs water like this one where you're expecting a bite and it's not coming. But sometimes a carp is a carp, and they do what carp do, which means they don't always feed when you expect them to. Conditions aren't brilliant today anyway, so I think I'm going to need to be patient, sit on my hands for a while. Let's see how it goes. Okay, so far not so good, unfortunately. Had nothing since that line bite which I had, or I guess it was a line bite or maybe an aborted take that I had really early on in the session. I've not seen any fish action out there, no fish topping, no bubbles, all very, very quiet on the lake. There's one other angler on, and I had a chat with him, and he hasn't had a bite, and he's been here longer than me, so seems that it's not just me, it's fishing a bit moody at the moment. But I really don't want to give up. I really want to catch one. It's been so long, and hey, I just love catching fish. So I'm just going to show you a couple of my rigs, which I'm going to give a go if I don't get any action in the next sort of half hour or so. I'm going to change over to these just to see if the change brings any action for me. So here's what I'm working on. So down here you can see I've got a couple of snowman rigs with a Nash Fang X hook on each. I know one of them looks like it's a short shank thing, but it's just the angle. Some coated braid stripped at the hook end to about a centimetre behind the hook, so there's some flexibility there. Coated braid all the way through to some anti-tangle sleeves and swivels, and just another one of my Ronnie rigs there. This one with a different pop-up on. This is one of the more naturally coloured krill flavoured pop-ups, which has been glugged for ages and ages in sort of a bait smoke. Again, anti-tangle sleeve at the end there. So not rocket science, nothing too complicated. Tie on myself, and I get some satisfaction out of that if I manage to catch a fish on one, which hasn't been the case of late. But I'm going to keep trying, because if you don't try, you're never going to catch one. Fingers crossed. Okay, well, total change. I've moved from one end of the lake to the other. The guy who was down this end has packed up and since gone home. But when I walked down here, I saw a little bit of twitching along this reed line that hopefully you can see off to my right hand side here. So I baited it lightly with what little bait I had left. I'd invested quite a lot into my original swim, but I wasn't feeling it down there. I wasn't seeing any signs of life, and this was just looking a little bit better for a bite. Unfortunately, as soon as I got the rods positioned, one right on the reed line and one just out to the left of it, the heavens have opened and it started raining, so I've quickly thrown up the shelter, which is my super brolly. No frills, I haven't even pegged it down, there's no wind at the moment, famous last words, and I'm just going to wait and see if one of these baits produces a bite. I really hope so. In any event, I will catch up with you soon. Okay guys, well, I think the move was the right move. There's some real activity in the swim at the moment, which I'll try and capture on film. We've got fish swirling, definitely reeds being bumped. I've got to go. Is that a bite? Just had a bite. Gonna flip this camera around and film the water. Unfortunately, it was just a single bleep, but certainly got my heart racing. The right hand rod closest to the reeds that I just had the bleep on. Still fish activity out there. Feels good for a bite now. Well, perseverance has really paid off this time. Carried on fishing to those reeds, applying bait little and often, loads and loads of bites, like line bites I guess, or fish just plucking at the baits but not hooking themselves. And finally, I've landed a fish. Not massive, I'm going to weigh it anyway just for the record and hold him up for you. Really chuffed. Picked up a wee bit of debris from the lake as I was scooping her up. A bit bigger than I thought actually. Very lively. Get that net out of the way. Pop her in the weigh sling. Already zeroed the scales against the wet sling. So let's see how we do. Well, that ain't bad. I would say 9.5 pounds. I don't suppose you can see that, but I would say 9.5 pounds of muscle-bound common carp. Just hold her up for the camera for our video before resting it in the margins for a few moments so I can take a still or two. 9.5 pounds, nearly hit that magical 10-pound barrier. Not quite this time, but man, am I happy to be holding a carp. Lively. Very lively. How's about that then? That's a lovely fish, huh? Real beautiful scales. Tiny bit of damage on the side that's facing me, but fish on. Fantastic. Really chuffed with that one. Hope you can see it well on the camera. I'll have a quick check to make sure. We'll take a couple of stills from a photo album. Well chuffed.